Just fixing my hairs. Just getting my hair. Fixing my hairs.
Really?
What's up, everybody? Hey, it's Friday. I wrote a new song for No Pants Friday. It's all about wearing a shirt and tie and then stand around in your underwear. You know what I'm saying?
You're weird.
Yeah, I am. Mm-hmm. What's up, guys? It's all about business on top, party on the bottom. It's the mullet of outfits. Okay? What is up, guys? I'm a little bit dressed up because we are going. You have a presentation, or not presentation. You're on a panel.
I have a speaking engagement.
A speaking engagement at a conference that's going on here in town. She's gonna be like on the panel with some other people. What's the conference? It's
ABA. It's American Burn Association conference. It's an international conference, and I'm on a speaking panel with some members of the Phoenix Society, which is an organization that I volunteer with that works with burn survivors. And I'm speaking on a panel with a couple of other survivors and professionals from the Phoenix Society, and we're talking about the reintegration and the psychosocial aspect of reintegration with the social community and the aftercare and after effects for burn survivors.
Awesome.
Very fancy schmancy.
Very, very cool.
We're speaking to a lot of doctors and nurses in the burn industry. So
indeed. So I do want to apologize for the lighting and perhaps sound today. We're having the show early because we're going to be doing that in the afternoon during the time we normally would be doing No Pants Friday. And we had talked about just canceling the show because we really need to get some work done. And particularly she needed to get some pictures taken. And I was like, why don't we just do the show while you're working? So she's actually going to be taking pictures. So you guys can kind of like.
You're going to be looking at her face.
Yeah.
And I don't know, my big butt, I suppose. I don't know.
Well, you get to see her process and stuff because she's doing pictures of a lot of like really creepy dolls. Like come on, guys. Like, what's up with us? Like, why is she doing this to me? No. Anyway, so she's in here taking pictures of lots of dolls. So she's going to do that whilst we're doing the No Pants Friday show. So we're just going to be hanging out here.
Sorry, I'm trying to block the light because it's glaring.
It is glaring, but that's okay.
The ring light is on. That's
okay. Deal with it, guys. Just deal with it. And so she's gonna be taking some pictures. We got the dogs in here hanging out, and we're gonna do our regular No Pants Friday AMA. Ask me anything. Ask us anything. Anything personal, business related.
Oh, I just see Thrifty Chick. I remember so well the station fire clips. The blonde, curly-haired guy. Yeah, his name is Derek Gray. He was the youngest person to perish in the station fire. I know his family well.
Men's suit blazers and sports coats are trending on eBay. Why is that? Why?
I hate selling them.
No, not doing it. Not doing it.
I'm not gonna do it. Selling them, yeah.
Listen, there's all kinds of stuff that sells. Car parts sell. Electronics sell. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna do it. I've got my little niche, my niche, if you will, my niche. I don't know what to say like that. My niche or my niche. I think both of them are correct.
I don't know.
Or we could say niche. My niche.
All right, please stop.
Anyway, guys, no, I'm not secretly keeping any dolls. Nope. I do not love dolls unless they're dolls from like horror movies, and I'm all about them.
Yeah, these could be dolls from horror movies, but they're not. They're just a bunch of vintage and antique dolls, and they're in poor to moderate condition, but they still have a lot of collectors out there. So
yeah,
I'm still selling them.
Allison, you can list all the blazers you want. I will. There are very rare circumstances where I will pick up a blazer if it's like a really cool like Western one, particularly like a Pendleton. It's like a really cool blazer. Like those old like Pioneer wear.
Yeah, I just sold my Kenny Rogers one.
Yeah, the Pioneer wear, like the corduroy ones. Like I will pick those up every once in a while, but generally they're just not that exciting to me. Like so, even if they do sell for a lot, I'm kind of picky. I do like to keep myself in a pretty narrow spot, which works for and against me.
I just really hate blazers, and most of them don't sell very well. Just because a lot of them. people have altered in some way, unless they're, you know, one of the vintage ones, like you said.
Yeah, for sure. See, I could get down with that, Allison. She has 2 Pendleton ones going up, so I'm down with that. Barbara is going to go see Us tonight, which I want to see that. I want to see that sometime. We won't be going tonight. We have date night tomorrow night. We have friends coming over on Sunday night, so maybe sometime in the middle of the next week we could go do that. But yeah, I definitely want to see that. Red Neckerson Resales just threw down $1.77 super chat. Yeah!
You are way more excitable when you're standing than when you're sitting. It's
you know.
It's a little frightening.
All right, thanks for that super chat. Anyway, guys, so what's that? Are you going to get some work done or what? Are you just going to stand around? You're just going to stand around like a lazy so-and-so.
You have to answer the questions.
I'll let you know.
Say them out loud.
No.
No?
Yeah, no. Susie Beach, okay, quit throwing that back in my face. The remove all obstacles. It is allowed to have a niche. You can have a niche if you want to. It's allowed.
Just because you said it's allowed, it's allowed.
Well, no, I mean, if you can sell successfully in a certain niche marketplace, that is okay. You do not have to. There are a million things that sell well, and it doesn't mean that you have to branch out to those. Now, if you're struggling with your sales and you're struggling with sourcing, then you do need to branch out and you do need to do that. Otherwise, it's completely up to you. And, you know, for me, with doing menswear, particularly streetwear and vintage streetwear, I do build a following and I do have some repeat customers. And so it makes total sense for me to be able to do that as long as I'm able to find the stuff that I need to be able to list. Like I can only list so much. So I don't need to branch out. So, but that's okay. I'll take your ribbon. I'll take your ribbon. I am Feisty McFeisterson today. Allison says she does not like it one bit.
Fresh, as we say in New England.
Adapt and change. But what am I? Okay. Yes. Never say never. If suddenly I could not sell men's clothes successfully, then yes, I would have to adapt and change. But there's no reason. I don't need to adapt and change right now. I mean, that's like saying that the store down the street that sells whatever they sell has to start selling all kinds of other items just because they can. And you don't have to. Anyway, so niche is ideal. I mean, I don't think necessarily it's ideal. I think it just depends on what you have available to you. I mean, there's plenty of stores on eBay who just sell computer parts, and they do really, really well with that. If you look at what's his name, it was a Shine finalist last year, Prince Patel. Like he just does, I believe. I mean, I don't know exactly what all the stuff is. I think it's all like used like computer machine parts, and he is like, it's insane how much he sells, and he really only has, I think, like 90 listings because he basically has like 90 listings of specific parts, and then he has like these. I think he has different places where he sources them from. And he's able to get all this stuff in and just put it in, divide it all up amongst these like 9 listings or 90 listings. And it is insane what he is able to sell just as one person. So it's totally fine. Now, not having a niche means that you do have, there's a lot more opportunity for you for sourcing. You can probably get a lot more depending on what area you are in. It does open things up for you. So there's trade-offs. There's definite trade-offs.
There's a lot more work involved without having a niche, I think, in some areas. I don't have a niche, so I sell everything. Yeah. But
I work harder when it comes to probably sourcing and finding my stuff. It takes more work for me to, like, I do have to find other avenues to, like, I finally made a connection with somebody where I've been getting these bulk buys on a weekly basis, and I'm really happy with them. And it's awesome because it's like regular stuff coming in. So it's less work for me to have to source now. Although I still have to do just as much as I was doing before. Whereas Vicky can go to just a couple of savers if she wanted to, or go for a day garage sailing and probably find all kinds of stuff. But she has to do a lot more research a lot of times because there's going to be items that she's never sold before. And she's got like these dolls. I mean, how long is it going to take you to list each doll?
It's a long process. So, cleaning and taking good photos and researching is important. Where it's not just like a sweatshirt or a pair of pants that I'm going to throw up there with 4 or 5 photos and I'll be fine.
Exactly. But you spent a total of like $100 altogether on like a bajillion dolls. But you're going to turn that $100 into, I don't know,
Probably about $1,500.
probably about $1,500. So, so like I said, there's trade-offs. It just depends. Yes, we're still live. We're live right now. Yeah, and being able, like what Dorothy says, being able to become an expert in something. I mean, it's nice being, knowing what I'm doing and knowing what I'm talking about and everything like that. One witch lady says, how do you decide on a price for a vintage t-shirt if there's no comparable items? Do you just go high? I mean, it depends. There are t-shirts that are just regular vintage t-shirts that just have whatever on them. They aren't for any specific, like, widely known event or widely known band or something like that that's going to have like people actually actively seeking it out. And those ones I usually price I want to sell anywhere from $28 to $35, depending on what the graphic is on them or what the theme is. Like lately I've been really into like skiing and t-shirts and stuff like that. Some of those I'll price a little higher. But when it comes to something where it's like a band or a specific event or it's something tied to an audience that's much wider and people are going to be looking for it, those are the ones I would go super high on. So I kind of have like a set idea. Tango, I don't know if I'm saying this right, Tango Moki Mos wants to know, Vicky, if you got in on the Vans David Bowie collection. Oh, they released it. They released it like at night. The one night I went to bed early, they released the collection. So it must have
I've been waiting for it, and then I didn't have a release date. So no, I didn't get in.
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Because I would have. Because I did the Van Gogh ones, but I actually only got one of them.
Yeah,
but I would have done more because.
For sure. And here's the nice thing, so I do have a niche with men's clothing, but one of the dangers, I guess I would say, or the risks of having a niche is that you have this niche and then it goes out of style, and then now you're scrambling to figure out what to sell. Like the dude who in the 90s made $1 million selling Beanie Babies, or somebody else who it's like all they sell is mid-century modern stuff or whatever.
Well, that's actually never gone out of style. That's always been.
Okay, so that's a bad example, but whatever. Tell me like some sort of
somebody that jumped on the Pokemon crap.
Pokemon, whatever. If your whole thing is just, I don't know, beads, or I don't know, I'm just trying to think of something that's specific. Scrapbooking materials. If you like build an entire business around a niche like that, and then it goes out of style, all of a sudden you're going to have to scramble to figure out what you're going to sell because it's no longer something that people are seeking out. With something like men's clothing, I mean, technically it's a niche, but while I focus mostly on streetwear right now, I'm going to shift that as trends change. So like I might go away from, like, let's say, like Tommy Hilfiger, which is still selling well, but it is on a downward trend to a certain degree. And there's certain pieces that are still doing really, really well and other stuff that's not. Then I would just get less of those and then move on to the next trend. Like, it's not like, oh, in 5 years, men's clothing is going to go out of style and everyone's just going to be naked. Everyone, I mean, who knows? Could happen, I guess.
They're watching your shows.
Yeah. And then there's certain things like sportswear, like sports jackets. I mean, they're always, if your favorite team is the Patriots, it's not like any vintage jacket from the Patriots is going to go away and out of style and people aren't going to want them anymore. They're just going to continue to be desirable, if that makes sense. So yeah, fidget spinners. Don't build your whole business on fidget spinners.
Yes, exactly. That's a good example.
Yeah, pretty much. Fair faded, would I list men's hats, like higher end vintage one? Honestly, I'm not that into hats. I did hats for a little bit and I was like, they're not fun. So it's like another one of those things where I'm like, meh. So I gave a bunch of them to Vicky. I sold a bunch of them to Jerry Pendleton. Occasionally, I actually have 2 hats I'm going to be listing this week. But it's like, it has to be something really specific. And this one's like the 1996 Atlanta Olympics one. But otherwise, I don't really mess with hats too much. So, yes, I personally am trying to do away with pants. So, no, that's not cool, man. That's not cool. So Enrique wants to know, Vicky, if heirloom doll collection dolls are worth picking up.
No, absolutely not. Crap. Any doll, 99% of any dolls that have been made from, say, 1990 and current unless they're specialty dolls, specialty reborn dolls, or anything like that, they're worthless. Heirloom collection, those mass-produced China dolls, those dolls that are sold on QVC, Danbury Mint, Bradford collection, all of that shit that people like my mother and other people her age spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on these dolls and these doll collections. They're absolutely worthless. Ignore them, run.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be putting up our sourcing video tomorrow, and you will see the massive quantity of dolls that she was wading through yesterday at this sale. It was ridiculous. Everybody's saying they like the earlier time.
Anyway. The thrifts are filled with junk dolls, absolutely. So these dolls are all antique. So they're all turn of the century, 1900s, up to 1930s. There's a couple from the 60s in there. That particular doll was from the 80s, but well, that wasn't my child doll. Good.
So there's that's we're talking about niche markets and stuff. While Vicky sells everything, she does have a pretty decent base of knowledge when it comes to dolls and vintage dolls. So we are talking about how the market is just overrun with them. The thrift stores are just filled with all these worthless dolls. The sale that we went to yesterday, it was the second day she had gone to it. It was like in this strip mall. It was just in this strip mall space. And I was like, what is all this stuff from? And you said it was from, it was basically from an estate sale. And I'm like, but why aren't they doing it at a house?
They did.
Right. And so, and I said that, and Vicky was like, well, they did do it at a house. So that means it was an estate sale that was in a house for multiple days. And all the stuff that didn't sell got moved to the strip mall location.
There were 5 storage units plus a 6,000 square foot house.
Wow, that's crazy.
This person was a hoarder.
Yes,
to the nth degree.
And so all this stuff got moved to a strip mall location, and then it was there for multiple days, which I don't know. Was it the first day that you went?
No.
Or was it
second week?
So it was the second week. Okay, guys. So it was at an estate sale. Then it was in its second week at the strip mall location. And then she went 2 days in a row. And there's so many dolls there, which means the must have started with even more. And the first day that she came home with, like, she'd spent $40 on these dolls. She lays out all these dolls and she's like, this one will go for $100. This one will go for $100. This one will go for $200. This one will go. It was insane. But guess what? Because she has that knowledge base and understands vintage dolls.
I used to specialize in vintage dolls. I used to source them and sell them. I didn't repair them, but I do know them pretty well. And I still don't repair them because the people that repair them are absolutely insane and really good at what they do. And I'm not. I'm completely clunky and can do nothing. But so I know old dolls.
Yeah, absolutely. Maui Delights just busted out a $10 super chat.
Maui Delights.
Super chat day, yo.
I showed Katie our photo. I told you I met her at the Purple Stride walk event when I was volunteering. She came over to introduce herself. She was there walking and raising money for pancreatic cancer.
Yeah, super awesome. I feel bad that I missed out. Anyway, so back to talking about the whole niche thing. It pays off to have that knowledge because, like we said, days and days and days, all that stuff was sitting there. If you were somebody who had no knowledge of dolls, you would have just been overwhelmed. Unlike electronics, you can't just go and like, oh, I'm going to look up this model number. Like some of the dolls will have information on them, but a lot of them don't. That's easy to look up. And so you're going to miss out on a lot of stuff. For me, when it comes to menswear, especially like vintage streetwear and stuff like that, because I've been doing it for a while and because it's my niche, I can go into a space and I don't have to like look up a bunch of stuff. I just know what is worth getting or not worth getting for the most part. I mean, I'm sure I miss stuff too, but it makes it a lot easier and it's a lot more efficient going into a sale to be able to do that. So
yeah, I didn't look anything up. This was just so inexpensive. I just started piling everything in a bucket, assuming I was going to pay $100, $150 or so. He's like, yeah, $40. I was like, okay. So that was why I went back the second day and just took pretty much everything that wasn't nailed down.
Grandma Cheap says she sold one of the German wool blankets for $100. Very, very cool.
Nice,
very cool. Erin Austin says that you sell a lot of similar stuff with her, so she's excited about that. So Nate says he found a Rimowa suitcase. Does that sound familiar to you? And it needs to be unlocked. Any suggestions for that? I don't know if it's worth unlocking or not because I don't know anything about that kind of suitcase. But what would your suggestion be for somebody trying to unlock a suitcase?
Just break the lock.
I guess just break the lock is probably your best bet. I mean, I would say I don't know anything about those suitcases. If it was a suitcase that was worth, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of dollars or $1,000, maybe it would be worth having somebody, a professional, like pick the lock or whatever, repair it. But otherwise, I wouldn't put too much into it. Allison says, "Thank goodness you don't specialize in clowns, Vicki."
Oh yeah,
She'd lose it. You know, speaking of clowns,
I'm gonna make sure I put them in the spare bedroom for when you come stay here, though.
Yeah.
For sure.
Nate says it's worth $250 to $600. I mean, a locksmith. If you took it into a locksmith, I feel like
do it for you for probably $15 for a little tiny.
Yeah,
It's not like a combination lock.
Yeah, just take it into a locksmith. Take it into a locksmith, and if it's worth that much, then don't break it. Speaking of clowns, when I very first started selling, I was selling everything. I was selling hard goods and stuff like that, and I slowly kind of moved into clothing, but I was still kind of doing both. And I would go to the bins a lot, and I found one of those clowns. Is it a Knickerbocker clown? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
It's like a Knickerbocker clown, like a big floppy clown. It was creepy, but it was pretty cool. I think I actually sold that on Bonanza, like very, very early on. So somebody had a great question for you, Vicki. How do you find, let's see who said this. Lauren wants to know, how do you find these estate sales to go to?
Estatesales.net.
Estatesales.net. Do most of the estate sales use that website?
Yes.
Okay, so estatesales.net. And I know what's great about them is a lot of times a sale will literally have like 500 pictures. It's insane. They put up a lot of information on there.
A little floppy.
She is a little floppy. Which doll is that? Oh, I think that's a really cool doll.
It's a vintage Indian doll.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Lorna, are you leaving us? We love you. I was really excited because today is my 2-year friendiversary. Not only with Teresa, T-Money, Teresa. Are you done taking pictures?
It's too difficult to do this and pay attention.
So. Okay. She's giving it up. Not only is it my 2-year friendiversary with Teresa, it's also my 2-year friendiversary with Lorna. And I'm pretty stoked about that because I love those guys. And that was before I actually met them in person, if you can believe that. 2 years ago. So crazy. So now we're just going to do this in this dimly lit.
Yeah.
I think you should go grab a dog, make this worthwhile. They're doing this in here with us.
No, I don't want dog fur on my clothes.
Oh, poor Luna. She looks very sad. Anyway, guys, estatesales.org.
Is it
Interesting.
.org? I thought it was .net.
No, they said also.
Oh, okay. I've never been on .org.
As well.
As well as.
In addition to.
All right, really?
Whoa, what's happening? That was very inappropriate.
So we're trying to.
Felt like you were invading my space.
Yeah. Really? Okay, I'll just stand here in the corner.
No, what I'm trying to adjust it. You're very sassy.
Rude today.
I'm trying to adjust it for you. How dare you?
Our friendiversary was yesterday. I sent you a card.
That's pretty funny. So .org is a lot of auctions.
Okay, good to know.
Interesting.
I don't think I've ever actually looked.
Yeah, very, very cool. I'm gonna go get Luna.
You're gonna have dog fur all over you?
I can get it off. I have this thing.
All right.
I have one of these things. Don't look at my underwear, guys.
Anyway, let's see. Grandma Cheap Cheap said, I've answered questions from buyers. Click the link to post the question to the listing. It did not post on several items. To be honest with you, I'm not sure that does work anymore. It used to. That might be one of those old leftovers on eBay from their poor, computer programming. Yeah. It may not work anymore.
Mm-hmm. Oh, now Grizz is sad because I picked up Luna and I'm not holding her. You guys hear
Seriously.
That? Yeah, those are my boxer briefs. See, I'm not lying, you guys. I respect the spirit of the day of No Pants Friday, and I will have to put pants on in a little bit. Okay, Grizz. All right. Grizz, come here. But I didn't want to have pants on.
Yes, Katie, undies and a tie. It's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
A dress shirt and a tie, but no pants.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
She made me laugh. She came down the stairs like, "Oh, you look that," and looked down and went, "What the hell are you doing?"
I will put pants on when we go to the thing.
So Enrique, have you tried the new eBay tape, the one you have to wet? I did not purchase any, but I have used that kind of tape before. It's heavy duty shipping tape. It's the same type of tape that has the fiberglass threads in it, and you have to wet it with a sponge.
Interesting. I didn't know you have to wet it.
Yeah, it's the heavy duty.
Interesting.
It's tape that has existed forever and a day. It's just they now have it branded with eBay stuff. And then there's the regular one.
Yes, it is. It's my Donald Duck look. Oh, I brought something. I wanted to give a quick little lesson. I mean, this is something I learned. I learned it probably sometime last year, but I had this come up again, and I thought I would share this with you guys. Have any of you experienced dry rot, particularly in t-shirts?
In pants, I have.
Okay, so this is a thing that's very specific to t-shirts, particularly.
It's cotton. In general.
Yes, it's 100% cotton. It's typically happens.
Cotton pants, that is.
Okay, we're talking about t-shirts.
Okay.
Let me talk about t-shirts. I understand it happens in other stuff. I am talking specifically about t-shirts. So it happens with t-shirts, particularly with dead stock black t-shirts that were made in the mid-90s. And there's a reason why it's dead stock. So you get this t-shirt and you're like, oh my gosh, I got this dead stock t-shirt. It's awesome. It looks like it's in perfect condition. It's beautiful, and you get it, and then maybe you put it on, or maybe you sell it and it gets to your buyer and they put it on and they pull it a little bit and it just rips apart like nobody's business.
Like your Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, you can basically like I'm super strong, guys. So here's the thing. It has something to do particularly with the black dye that they use in these t-shirts. And it's crazy. The black dye that they use in these t-shirts. And the reason it happens with dead stock, I believe, is because it sits stored or whatever forever. And it's something to do with the black dye and the enzymes or the acidic nature of whatever's going on in these shirts. And because they're never washed and they aren't worn and used, it just sits there and it builds up and it does something to the structure of the fabric.
It just breaks down the fibers.
So I think it doesn't happen if it's bought back in '93 and worn and thrown in the wash. I think it must like neutralize whatever the issue is. And so, but it's crazy. And you can actually, once you experience it, you'll find it's got like this weird kind of texture to it. Mm-hmm. But it'll make you real sad because you'll pick it up.
It happened to a pair of pants that I sold. The customer said, I put these pants, I put these pants on, they were dead stock. And the minute I put them on, they split right down the middle of the leg. They sent me a picture. I'm like, oh, no, it's dry rot.
Yeah. But you can definitely feel it's got this very weird texture to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I realized I picked this up when I was like going through my shirts looking for something, and I touched this. And I'm like, I bet that is, and I went and pulled it, and then I went and delisted it or whatever. But it is kind of fun to be like.
Does it feel like dry toast? Yeah, no, it just feels like a t-shirt. I mean, you're probably not going to recognize the texture, but okay, you're getting stuff in my face. Freak.
Anyway,
it happens with certain types of clothes. It doesn't happen often, but if your customer tells you that I put a shirt on that was vintage and old and it was perfect when it left you and they put it on and it split down the middle.
Yeah.
Don't give them too much shit about it because it's probably true.
Especially if it's a black t-shirt and it looks like it was brand new.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
So just text it. Test it before you list it.
Yeah. I found this awesome Black History Month t-shirt. Like it was like just before February started and I was like, oh, sweet. And then I went to take pictures of it and I was like, oh, this feels a little weird. I think this might be one of those dry rot things. And I pulled on it. Well, actually I went like this and it tore. So
you had to make the face.
I did. It'll also happen when clothes that stay wet for too long before drying newer stuff. It sneaks up on you though when it's like so be careful if you ever have an opportunity to buy like a whole bunch of dead stock band t-shirts or something like that, which are probably going to be all black. You're going to want to be cognizant of that and make sure that you check that out, because the last thing you want to do is be super excited, pay a bunch of money for them, and then go and sell them to somebody for, sell them a t-shirt for $300. They get it and it just rips in half. So
crispy and not in a good way. Exactly. Crystal, Rosie's Closet is here. We haven't seen you in a long time.
What is up?
I hope you're doing well. You better get your butt to a meetup at some point, girl.
Yeah, come on.
And it does happen in shoes as well. That was what I was just going to say. It happens a lot in lug sole shoes, vintage shoes, usually black lug sole heavy shoes, because the thicker the rubber, the more there is for it to dry out and crumble. And yeah, so that's like people talk about, especially Danskos. That's one of those clogs. It's pretty popular. Certain types of work boots and things like that.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you do the twist test. You twist it when you have it in the store before you buy it, and make sure that it's not cracked, because if you twist it and there's dry rot in the shoe, you'll know it starts to crumble and break and stuff falls apart.
Yeah, try to do that at the store. I've done it a couple times with t-shirts. Like I'll pull one of them and be like, make sure that they don't rip, which, I mean, maybe they're going to rip at the store, but at least I don't buy it. Angela Myers, what's up? She says we both look sharp today.
We're all fancy.
You look fancy. Angela, I hope things are going well for you and you're keeping on. You're trying to get things going on the regular here. So let's see. Oh, Rosie, Crystal says that our meetups are at the same time as her son's therapy.
Oh, well, that stinks.
Sorry.
You're always welcome to bring him. If I've told people, like, bring him and bring your your kids if you need to, and as long as they have like an iPad or something that's going to keep them entertained. Yeah. The rooms are huge. There's plenty of room for him to go and like hang out and watch something or play a game or whatever if you want.
Yeah, for sure. JRKR 1964 wants to know if anyone else has had items that they sent offers on sell fairly quickly for the regular price, not the offer you sent. It's happened to me a bunch of times.
I have actually, and I think that goes with the theory that we've talked about. When you have some type of activity going on with this specific item, whether a customer sends you an offer, you send them an offer. That's why we say don't just decline people that send you offers. You're creating interest and activity on the item itself. If you're sending out offers to buyers, whatever, there's something that elevates that search ranking somehow when there's activity going on with the item, because I've had it happen many times.
Yes.
So,
well, this is like, you see like people post where they get really upset about lowball offers and they take it really personally and they get insulted, which, you can't take these things personally. And now it's like you shouldn't even be getting upset, because even if somebody, let's say you have something listed for $100 and somebody offers you $1, it's like, is that kind of annoying? Yeah, but you know what? They just bumped your listing up in the search. Like, they just did you a favor. So even if nothing comes of that person's offer, now you do want to counter, because sometimes you never know. Sometimes people put in a number. Sometimes they're just testing the waters.
When they do that, I counter back at like 99.
Yeah. So I've many times
I'm kind of a dick. But
many times I've had somebody offer a really low offer, and then by the time we get done negotiating, I've been happy with the price that we up on.
It happens.
And because it's a conversation, so they're putting out a really low price to see what happens, and then you basically are letting them know where you're more comfortable with, and then hopefully they'll meet you somewhere. But Leoman. What? $5 super chat. Leoman, the mysterious Leoman, is somewhere.
Mysterious Leoman.
Somewhere in the...
That we've probably seen somewhere in the Vegas Valley, but we don't know where.
Yes. He's somewhere out there.
He's got to walk around with like a big circle that has the photograph of his avatar in it so that we know who it is in person. So like you need to have like the snowman.
See, he's probably never going to talk to us.
In a yellow circle.
Because he wants to keep the mystery alive. Thank you for the $5 super chat. And Lehman's got his own little super chat song. Here's your super chat. Here's your super chat. Woo, woo, woo. Here's your super chat. Here's your super chat. Woo, woo, woo. Thanks, Leoman. Enrique, they're testing the waters because some sellers will accept low balls. And you know what? Sometimes I have something that I price really high and then I forgot about it and there was never any action on it and I've had it for a really long time. And somebody comes in, let's say it's a $100 item. Somebody comes in and says, I'll give you $50 for it. And I look at it, I'm like, man, that's been sitting there forever. It barely has any views. Nobody's ever made an offer on it.
Yeah,
I remember like a year ago, I paid $2 for it. Yeah, I'll take $50.
Yeah,
so it totally happens.
It depends on the It depends on how long I've had something, all kinds of stuff. Sometimes I'm having a slow week and I send out offers to buyers and I will lowball the crap out of something because I know just because I want $200 for something doesn't mean I paid that. Like I've, paid $5 for it maybe.
Mhm.
So sometimes I'll take 100. You never know.
Yeah, indeed. Let's see. DJ wants to know, I have an AC/DC t-shirt. The tag is all style, made in Mexico, has the American flag, 1980 US tour. I see the same, but with printed tag, no actual tag. Would that mean? Well, I'd have to see it. However, hold on a second.
He said, would that mean it might be a real shirt? Yes, it might be.
Okay. However, all style, made in Mexico. I would like to see the pictures because that, to me, I've never seen that from 1980. No, it's not 1980. So that's not an original 1980 US tour t-shirt. It's definitely, I would say it's probably a reprint, but it could be a real shirt. And you know what, guys? This week I sold a Slayer t-shirt from 2003, and it was a reprint of a 1991 tour t-shirt. I sold it for $60.
Mm-hmm.
So just because it's a reprint does not mean necessarily that it's not worth anything.
G. Jasso, I don't think the eBay person is going to think you're ignoring them. When did you sent out the offer on Poshmark as well? I would just wait another 12 hours or so and then counter with your eBay person if somebody from Posh doesn't buy it. No big deal.
Yeah.
Sunny, can we add seasons to our titles like Easter? Of course.
Yeah, you can.
Lots of people do for dresses. And
another thing you can do is you can take advantage of your item specifics if you don't want to put it in your title, because like maybe once Easter's over, maybe you don't want to have to like go back and change your titles. When you're listing something in your item specifics, there's a part that says there's like theme. There's also another one that's like has something to do with the graphic on a shirt or whatever. Anyway, you can add stuff to that. Like you can choose the ones that they offer, but you can also add other ones. And what it does is, item specifics are actually searchable. And so if somebody searches, let's say whatever it is, something t-shirt Easter, even though
features.
It's not
features. DJ says features.
Features. What do you? I don't know.
It's under features, like you said.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, but anything in the item specifics is searchable. Excuse me. So if somebody searches and they use the word Easter, even if it's not in your title or your description, but you have it somewhere in your item specifics, it will come up in the search. So just so you know.
I did see Brenda say that she's got to go catch up later, but I want to say, yay, I heard that you and Bobby have changed your mind and you are coming to eBay Open, so that makes me happy. Mm-hmm. And I did see up there, way back up there, that Corey that lives here in Henderson, she lives in Vegas. Corey, did I see there that did you quit Carrabba's?
What?
Are you full-time self-employed now?
What? If so, that's awesome.
I'm very excited for you if you did.
Yeah.
Super excited, really happy. Let's see.
Well, so Erin has a question about listing on Etsy.
I'm not sure how to price these because of no best offer option. I usually list everything on eBay high with the best offer. I'm afraid to list it high and then it will just sit. You can always lower your prices. Erin, I price everything on Etsy $10 higher than my highest price on eBay. And I've never had offers. I've never had sales on Etsy. I don't put my items on sale, I should say. That's not fair.
I don't put things on sale either. I price, so on eBay, I always have my stuff on a sale and my sales are generally 30% off. So I price my Etsy stuff so it's close to what my sale price is on eBay. So they're close to the same price. They tend to be a little bit more on Etsy. So I don't do sales on Etsy and I don't do best offer on Etsy. However, people contact me all the time.
I don't think best offer is an option on Etsy.
No, right. It's not. But however, people contact me all the time and they'll say, is this the best price you can do? I sold a t-shirt yesterday. Somebody sent me a message. It was priced at $35 and they were like, would you take 28? And I was like, yeah, sure. Because I knew I would take that offer if it was on eBay. So I said, yeah. And I went and changed the price to 28, or you can send them a coupon if you want. You can create a coupon code for them. And they went ahead and bought it. But yeah, don't worry about it. So when is eBay open?
The last week in July. I don't have a calendar in front of me. Hold on. Yeah, it's the last week in July. Do you want to answer the next question?
Well, Corey says, yes, Carrabba's got purchased by another company. Time to go.
Good for you.
Well, it's awesome.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, and it'll just be, obviously you'll be motivated to like really
So eBay Open
Focus
is
more on
what,
the reselling
the
side.
Tuesday the 23rd?
Yep.
Through Thursday the 25th
Yeah. Yep.
in July.
Mm-hmm.
The Fry boots were returned because I messed up and put the wrong size on the eBay listing. Suck it up. You know, it sucks, but suck it up, add the price, relist them, sell them for more.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. Sold them on Posh a few days for more money. Even better.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
So Mother Deal says, I came across an Arctic Cat black with lime green trim snowsuit. They wanted 25. I left it thinking I made a mistake. Only one like it sold. What's your feeling on that?
I'm not familiar with the with that brand specifically. I mean, I know Arctic Cat. I've heard of the brand, but I've never sold a snowsuit. But 25 sounds a little pricey for me. Peak season, I'm usually selling snowsuits for around $75, sometimes $100, depending on the brand and if they're really cool looking. So I probably would have left it at 25, but that's without me looking up to see. I don't know what Arctic Cat comps sell for in general.
Yeah.
Only one like it sold. Don't go look for the exact same one. Go for the brand and overall style.
Yeah.
Don't worry about, don't worry about colors and stuff like that. Corey, you're welcome to come in at the door in a panic anytime. It's okay. We'll talk you down. I promise.
Absolutely.
Look what we've done for Dorothy. Dorothy has come out of her shell so much. We yanked her out. We showed up at her house, all of us, helped her sort through some stuff and yanked her out of her shell. And now she's sassy and sending me messages all the time. Look what I bought. Look what I got.
Yeah, very, very true. Hey, so speaking of comps, I don't know how many of you have started using Terapeak, or if you have Terapeak yet. We are going to be doing a show on, I don't know exactly when, but sometime in the next week or couple of weeks, we're going to do our Wednesday show on Terapeak. But what's nice about
We're waiting to actually get some information from the people at Terapeak. They're supposed to be sending...
we're hoping we can do some sort of demo with them, because we just want to see, she's been using Terapeak for a long time, but we just want to see.
I know that there are more
new features there are.
Yeah, there are new features, and there's things that I haven't used in a long time or haven't used for whatever reason. I didn't really need them. So I want to make sure that we give you more than just the basics. We want to give you a comprehensive rundown of how to use Terapeak and all the different features. So we're waiting to get something from them.
But the nice thing about Terapeak is that instead of just 90 days of sold listings that eBay shows, Terapeak has the whole year. And so for something like that snowsuit, maybe only one sold in the last 90 days.
Okay.
Maybe 5.
Mother Deal said it's from the 70s. Okay, $25 and it was from the 70s, probably too high. 70s is, as far as like snow and ski fashion, 70s is okay, depending on if it's like a different a vest or a jacket. It really has to scream 70s style. If it's just dated 70s, it doesn't scream a certain style. I think you were wise to leave it behind. Right now, the ski fashion that is really hot is like late 80s, early 90s, the neons, the same type of thing that's in streetwear, neon and color block and stuff like that. That's really hot because that's what the younger people are wearing. They're wearing the retro fashion.
Yeah. Allison says that she's really familiar with vintage Arctic Cat apparel, but it's a very slow mover. So probably not a bad idea to leave it behind.
Oh, it's Kelly from the East Coast. Okay. Sorry. I didn't know your, this is my stage name.
So Beverly wants to know if we pull our winter items now and relist later.
It's winter. We sell all over the world, and it is winter somewhere all the time.
Yeah. Now, some winter stuff may not move as fast once you hit the summertime, but you know what? Honestly, like particularly if you have a store, it's worth it to keep stuff listed year round. I think people get really caught up on this whole like listing fees and stuff like that. And honestly, if you have good stuff, even if it's going to be a little bit slower at certain times of the year and faster at other times of the year, keep it listed and listed year round, because I would say if you're not selling internationally, you should be, because that's going to make it much more likely you're going to sell some of that stuff. But I mean, I sell hundreds of jackets throughout the summer.
Yeah, I sell stuff like that all the time. I wouldn't worry about it. Grandma Cheap found Converse All-Stars with stars and stripes. They aren't in the best condition. Back heel is rubbed off in places, list or not. Depends on how bad of condition they're in. And they are heavy. It doesn't really matter how heavy Converse are. Usually you're going to be able to fit them in a padded flat rate mailer to ship, unless they're bigger than like a men's size 12. So don't worry about, the weight on those because they're cheap to ship. But if you can get them cheap enough, sure. I mean, even ratty Converse generally sell for about $30.
Yeah. We are not part of the managed payments plans yet, and Nate wants to know if we can explain managed payments. So right now, if you're just a regular seller on eBay, all of your payments go through PayPal, and that's whether somebody's using their PayPal account or they're paying with a credit card. They still do it through PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
What managed payments is eBay is basically, they no longer own PayPal. They did at one point, but
they had a separation agreement that begins with, it's like a 3-year process for eBay to separate from PayPal.
Yeah.
As their process server.
Now, so basically, eBay is going to be taking over managing all payments. Now, PayPal will be an option. So this is one of those things that there's been a lot of misinformation out there. So PayPal, eBay, when they started the managed payments program, they started it as a beta program, and they started simple. And so they took out global shipping program, they took out PayPal, they started super simple. And a lot of people were saying like, oh, they've gotten rid of PayPal forever, and you don't want to do managed payments because then you can't take PayPal, and that's not true. They took it out for the beta. It's going to go back in sometime, probably this summer. And eventually where it's going to go is that eBay will process payments like credit cards and stuff like that, but there's going to be things like PayPal,
Google Pay,
Google Wallet, Apple Pay, all this stuff. It's just going to go through eBay. So it's just a little bit
It's like going to any other website in the world. Here's the thing. People are complaining about the change, but eBay is the only website that only allows PayPal. So, currently any other website in the world that you go to purchase something from, including Amazon, which is the biggest, online retail website, you can use any form of payment you want. So far, eBay has limited their buyers.
Yeah.
So it's all that's going to happen is that in the process, they're adding different options in as you're going slowly through the beta process. But when it is completely finalized, all of the options will be available, including PayPal.
Yeah.
We are not in it as of yet because there were some restrictions with regard to international sales and accepting payments from international buyers. And in the very beginning, which will not be there at the end, but we sell an awful lot international, and it didn't make sense for us to jump into the beta as of yet.
Yeah. Fade or faded, you know what, I really need to do some more research on this because I've never really looked that deeply into it. I don't really search comps on Etsy, to be honest. I don't know if there is a way to search comps on Etsy. Now, it is possible if you go into somebody's store, you can see their solds, and you can click on it and you can see all their solds, and you can go and you can use flippertools.com to see what prices they sold at. I know that there's been times when I've done a Google search on something and an old Etsy listing has come up and it says this item is sold, and then you can look at that. But I don't know if there's a super straightforward way like on eBay where you can just click over the solds. I need to look into that because I know that question comes up.
So here's the thing. Erin said she read an article, eBay's narrowing what Terapeak will now show versus what they used to show. I'm not sure if that's true either. I don't necessarily think it's something to be concerned about, though. WorthPoint is an excellent resource, but WorthPoint is only for vintage and antique.
Yeah.
That's it. So it doesn't show you everyday, day-to-day things that are not vintage or antique. Right. It's only going to show things in vintage categories and antique categories and collectible categories.
Yeah.
So WorthPoint is excellent for that. It does go back farther than a year, but it is it's also a little bit more cumbersome because it goes so far back. And so they're both entirely different, and they have different strengths and weaknesses.
Sunny, eBay has not eliminated PayPal. eBay is in the process of their managed payments program. So some sellers are in the managed payments program, and right now PayPal is not available for any sellers who are selling through the managed payments program, but it's only because they're in the testing process, and that is going to change. PayPal will be added back. So yeah, some buyers are frustrated when they want to buy something and they refuse to buy anything that they can't pay with PayPal. But there's good and bad with it, and eventually it's going to come
And there
back.
are just a handful of buyers that are using that right now. And I know that they have just opened up managed payments again to a bunch of people. I know that I got an invite. I've heard the people talking about on the boards that there have been several people that have gotten invites to get into managed payments now with this second phase of the beta switchover. I'm still not interested in being involved yet, but
I'm going to want PayPal back, and I'm going to want
International
to be completely opened up again. Were you tapping me?
I was tapping you because we have 5 minutes because we cannot go over today. I have to.
Yeah, we cannot go over today. So Beverly wants to know if we have a video or a list of international countries not to sell to. So neither one of us have any restrictions as far as where we will sell internationally. We both, in both of our businesses, we will sell to any country, no restrictions. And that's just us. And it has a lot to do with the stuff that we sell. So we totally get it's not one size fits all. If you sell super high fraud categories like iPhones and super expensive like jewelry and I don't know, stuff like that
for you.
But I'm guessing most of you guys are like us and you're thrifters and you're paying $1, $2, $5 for your items and selling them. So if that's the case, I wouldn't worry about it. Honestly, if you are worried about it, you buy your label through pirate ship and you get insurance and then you're fine, you're covered. And with pirate ship and their simple export rate.
That's not what she's talking about.
Sorry, what?
So she's asking about not to sell with because of item restrictions or certain countries.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So the answer to that question is I don't restrict anything or any countries. If you have something that sells to a country and it's not allowed to go to that country, then you just cancel the sale. Problem with buyer's address. It is not a ding. It does not hurt you. They cannot leave negative feedback. It is what it is. Yeah. So don't worry about that.
Sorry for my incorrect tangent.
Her tangent that just kept going on and on and on. Let's see.
Aaron says, so if you're mainly a clothing seller, worth point would not be helpful. I mean, I sell a lot of vintage.
Not much.
I sell a lot of vintage. I do use worth point every single day. So while it misses a lot of stuff, it is super helpful for me. It does give me information because I can see sales going back 10 years. And I know that that's not current, but it does give me information. I wouldn't necessarily recommend to everybody go out and spend $20 a month.
You also don't know how to use Terapeak either.
No, I'm using both. I'm using both.
Yeah.
And Terapeak goes back a year. I do want to know. There are certain things I do want to know if it sold last year, the year before, the year before that. It is important to me. So yes, there's restrictions and you're not going to see everything, but it does work for vintage clothing. It's just not as comprehensive as I would like it to be.
Henrique, Katie is not wearing her cat pants. We actually have to go in about 2 minutes, guys. I have to be at the hotel where the conference is and meet up with my fellow panelists and things like that.
For fellow panelists, guys. For fellow panelists. You know what panelist sounds like? Panelists.
Here we go.
Newer clothes, so it only draws from vintage categories, but some people do list things newer. But the reality is 75-85% of the stuff that I sell is vintage. So it does help me, but it's just, it is what it is.
Sonny, there's no food at this thing. Have fun, eat all the fancy foods. There's no food.
I know, I'm going to be
So
starving.
the conference has been going on all week. This is the last day of the conference. In fact, our panel is from 2 to 4. So it's probably the last panel of the last day of the week-long conference. So here's hoping we haven't even met anybody that wants to come to our panel. But then we get to go, I don't know, we get to go grocery shopping after we leave there. So nothing super exciting. But yeah.
Grandma Cheap, I think that she might be sending some Skittles. I could have read that wrong. We could have some more Skittles coming, and I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, we need some tacos. But hey, guys, I got to go put some pants on. We got to get ready so we can get out of here so she can be all fancy up on stage, and I can sit there and be like this and go, I'm going to do that. Oh, ooh, yes. That's what I'm going to do.
You better not. I'm already nervous and she's going to make me.
I am not.
She's going to make faces at me.
I am not going to make faces at her. Anyway, I got to go put some pants on. Maybe I'll put some shoes on. I don't know. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with us today, and we will see you later. Look for the sourcing video tomorrow, and then come hang out with us on Sunday for Sunday Live Haul at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to have some awesome stuff to share with you. She'll probably show some of her more creepy dolls, the higher valued ones, so you can all be horrified and impressed at the same time. Anyway, see you guys later. Bye. Bye.